Hello, and welcome to the Tiny Human Knits podcast. My name is Laura, and I'm coming to you from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, where I live with my boyfriend, our cat, and our rabbit. Yes, go on. You can find me online pretty much everywhere as Tiny Human Knits, and I will have links to all of my social media and everything else I talk about in the description box below this video. Hello, do you mind? You're getting hair on everything, and you already do that naturally. Hi. Got a co-host today. She just got out of the window. She likes to stare at the outdoors as if she wants to be a free cat, and she's not, because she doesn't even like getting her paws wet. She complains every time she goes outside and there's snow out. Do you need something? Can I help you? I'm already distracted. You're distracting me! But you're raising the production value. Yeah. What was I saying? It's been, did I say that already? I can't remember. It's been about 3 weeks since my last episode. And I've got a bunch of finished objects, mostly accessories, that I'm just, it's creating a bit of a pile in my room. So it's freaking me out. Excuse me. Thank you. So, there's going to be a lot less coughing today because it's starting to warm up here. It's springtime now. So we haven't been having as many fires. So I feel like I can finally breathe and talk without completely dying. So that's very exciting. But yeah, I've got 5 finished objects and all accessories. And I can't remember if I've shown a single one of them. So first off, I'm just going to say really quick, this is what I'm wearing. This is my original Gartrell crew. This is a pattern by Tanis Lavallee. I've knit it 3 times and it is delightful. This is my first one that I made. I've knitted it out of my own hand-dyed yarn. It was my rainbow sort of one. I absolutely adore this sweater. I love wearing it. I love the fact that people comment on it. It's always very pleasing, you know, when you can be like, yes, I made it. Thank you very much. But just really quick, that's what I'm wearing. 100% love this pattern. The fit is great. The possibilities are endless. You could do intarsia, color blocking, stripes, all that kind of stuff. I love it. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing, in case anyone is wondering. So I'm going to get in really quick into my finished objects. There's nothing particularly exciting about any of them, really. And, hi. You're really... What's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, was Bun mean to you? You know you're like twice his size. Okay. So, hi. How are you? So I've got 4 finished pairs of socks because I had this frenzy in my head of I've always got socks on the go. Sometimes I've got quite a few socks on the go, but it was getting a little bit too cluttered around my half of the couch. So I decided I was going to try and finish a bunch of these like half-finished small projects and just get some satisfaction out of that. Hello, kitty. How are you? I don't know if this is, I'm going to show them in order of what they were finished, but I don't think that matters at all. But my first finished pair is this set. I need my arm, baby. I need this arm. Can you just stay there? That's a good girl. This is a pair of socks knit out of Patton's Croy. I believe the colorway is called Midnight Orchid. And I adore Patton's Croy yarn. It's so robust and it washes really well. All of my ones that I've knit out of Patton's Croy wash amazingly well. They don't shrink. They do felt a little bit, but that's very normal. And they're really thick, so you can knit them on a 2.5mm needle instead of a 2.25, and they go quite quick. For these ones, I cast on 56 stitches on a 2.5mm needle, and I've made them to be about a size 7. And I think I'm going to give them to my sister Dana because they're a little too big for me, but she's got like just barely slightly bigger feet than I do. And yeah, I just did 56 stitches and I think 22 rounds of 2x2 rib. And then I just knit the leg until I was happy with the length of it. And then yeah, did a slip stitch heel, gusset, and a wedge toe. Same thing I do with all of my socks. Very normal, very basic. So that is the first finished pair. I've got cat hair all over my face because there's a cat on my lap. The second pair that I finished were I started these like I think last year, but I made a DK weight set of socks in my Nutcracker colorway, which is a colorway from originally the year before last. It's one of my favorite colorways I've ever dyed. But I knit up the DK ones, and that's these here. And I am so bad at knitting DK socks because I don't have my recipe, like how much length and how many stitches I need for things. So I made these 3mm needles, and I used 48 stitches, I think. And like everything else is basically just following the same sort of idea as all the other socks that I make. But again, I just don't knit them often enough for me to know exactly how much of everything I need to use. So I have quite a bit left over, and I need to make longer socks. But I've also made these slightly too big for me, and I think slightly too small for any of the people I have in my life who are like a size 8, 9. So I think these are also going to be going to my sister Dana. And I hope she likes DK weight socks because they're so fast and so fun to knit. Like they go so quickly. But yeah, this is the Nutcracker colorway. This, if anyone's wondering, I will be bringing back the Nutcracker for my Christmas in July update. So if you've been wanting it at all, I'll have it then. The third pair of socks that I finished, I actually started and finished these from the last time. They weren't ones that were half done. They were completely finished. But I actually knit myself another pair of socks in my newest colorway that will be available this Friday. And that is my Scrappy Quilt socks. So my original ones are right here. These ones were knit on 2.25mm needles, same as these, but these are the 64 stitch count. They were my sample pair. So 64 stitches, so size 9-ish, 9, 10, depending. They're a bit stretchy. But I really wanted to make a pair for, not a family friend, but someone I know who really, really likes socks, or hand knit socks. So she's got really tiny feet. So I knit the 56 stitch ones, which is what I used to do because 56 stitches is what fits me because I've got very tiny feet. But I wanted to make another one for her, so I got a 50-gram skein out of my store, and I knit up a pair for her. So these will be going into a bin for Christmas because I really want to give her, just because she really likes my hand knit socks. It's kind of by accident that she's discovered this because I gave her a couple pairs a couple years ago and she absolutely adored them. So I've got a huge bag of like single socks from pairs of long ago, and I really want to make the second sock out of all of those socks and give her just a huge case of fresh hand knit socks. Bye, kitty. So this is to add to that, so I really wanted to give her just a ton of socks. So that's what they look like on 56 stitches instead of 64, in case anyone's wondering. And then the last pair of socks is a colorway that I have not released yet, and I don't know when I'm going to, just because of plans and how long everything seems to take. But I made this colorway based off of Howl's Moving Castle, and it will eventually be put into the shop. But these are those. It's based off the scene where young Howl is catching a falling star. So that's Calcifer's Flame. So these are also 64 stitches, my now basic sample size. And I've got cat hair, or my hair, can't actually quite tell. As per usual. So yeah. It hasn't really decreased the amount of socks that I'm currently working on because I keep casting socks on. But there you have it. Now I can separate these into gifts and samples and put those away. This pile was getting a little bit ridiculous. And I have one more knitted finished object that I started since my last episode, and that is a Stria hat. And I was using someone suggested it in my last episode that with my leftovers from my Jacquard tank top that I should knit a Stria hat, and I did. Now, this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It is a half fisherman's rib hat. It's based on her Stria cardigan, and it's knit in fingering weight. So I had a ton. I still have yarn from these colors. I have knit now got it right here, a Friday sweater, youth, or 2 to 3 year size, a Jacquard top, and now this, and I still have yarn left over from the 20 gram minis that I used. So they go a long way. But I knit the medium size, and it doesn't fit me. It was never really going to be for me anyway. It'll fit someone. But I think what I might do is I might send this to my sister Dana with the Friday tee, and then one of her children, either Axton or Callum, will fit it, and they'll be able to wear it. So I actually shortened it a bit because it was quite small. So it's not quite as long as it's supposed to be in the pattern, but it is super cute. I really, really like half fisherman's rib. Still do. The decreases in half fisherman's rib, you have to remind yourself, they are going to look bad before you block it. They're very sort of loosey-goosey, because the way half fisherman's rib is and the way you have to do the decreases, it looks a bit silly, in my opinion. So I was a bit nervous, but then after you block it, it's significantly improved. So, yeah. So yeah, those are my mini skeins from my Scrappy Quilt mini skein set. I blocked it kind of funny, so it's sitting a bit flat at the top. That's my own fault. I might reblock it, because I think I might have stretched out the brim as well too much, but we'll see. But yeah, that's my last finished object. A lot of these are going to be gifts. So many of these are going to be gifts. Okay, so I have a few works in progress. I did a little bit of work on my Seasons cardigan by Ozetta, and I actually finished the body. I actually finished the body twice. I will tell you why. But this is what I've got now. So originally, the original pattern has you knit for a certain length in the half fisherman's rib, because this is an all over half fisherman's rib cardigan. And then you do 3 inches, pardon me, you do 3 inches of 1x1 rib at the bottom. And I was looking through other projects, and there was one that was talking about how they had done a shorter, like they lengthened the amount of half fisherman's rib, and then they did a short little bit of 1x1 ribbing. And honestly, I don't even know. I'm starting to wonder if the 1x1 ribbing is even necessary, because it's just like, I don't know. I might undo it. Who knows? But, so I actually undid my 3 inches of 1x1 ribbing, and then picked back up where I had started that, and then did 2 inches of half fisherman's rib extra, and then just 1 inch of the 1x1 ribbing at the bottom. And I think it'll be fine, like once it's all blocked and things. But, yeah, I really like the look of the half fisherman's rib, so I just continued that. And I just need to pick up the sleeves and knit the sleeves. I was thinking I'm going to do, I think, a double knit button band around the entire thing. And I was going to start that before the sleeves, but now it dawned on me the other day. I did a gauge swatch for the double knit, and it just dawned on me that I should probably finish this up, the sleeves and everything, and then block it, and then do the double knit button band, just to make sure that I'm not knitting a button band that isn't actually the right, like, amount of stitches in it. So I think what I might do is knit the sleeves first, because I don't really want to block it right now, although it wouldn't really make a difference. Okay, either I'm going to knit the sleeves first, or I'm going to block it right now and see, but I'm not sure yet. But I've also pretty much decided that I'm going to be doing balloon sleeves, so I won't be doing any decreases until I get to the cuff at the bottom, because I feel like this style of like kind of oversized, big, puffy cardigan would just look really nice with a nice big puffy sleeve. So I'm just going to do straight half fisherman's rib all the way down to the cuff, and then I will do a rapid decrease, And then knit maybe about 2 inches of cuff. I can't remember what the pattern says you're supposed to do. But it's beautiful. And I'm knitting this out of my own hand-dyed yarn. It's in my Maraschino Cherry colorway. And it's on a non-superwash fingering and mohair. And I'm definitely going to have enough. I've got loads. Ozetta's patterns are always really great. And I've also decided that if I really muck up the double knit button band, I can always do an applied button band. And that is absolutely fine. It's so squishy. But yeah, it's had a lot of work, but not a lot of progress, if you know what I mean. And I actually have oh, this is just a mess. I have the 1x1 ribbing at the bottom. The yarn for that is on this toilet paper roll. Delightful. That'll go to another project later on, I think. I still am hoping to have enough yarn from this project to knit a lobster. I think I mentioned that last time. And then I have a little bit of progress, a very little bit of progress, on my Stella quilt cushion. This is my second one. This is a pattern by Laura Penrose. I'm sure most of you know. But I've just added 2 squares to my Stella quilt cushion. And that's just because I've been concentrating on other things. It has nothing to do with how much I'm enjoying it, because I love this pattern. But it's not a priority. And this is also, a lot of the colors are from my Scrappy Quilt collection as well. Unfortunately, I won't be able to have DK sets of the mini skeins, just because I didn't have any in stock bare, and I didn't have the capacity to order any more this time. So I'll get into that more in a bit. But yeah. Got 2 more squares done. I could finish this very quickly, but it's not a priority. It's fun to do and to pick up every once in a while. That's just to show you that progress, so it doesn't seem like I finish it all in one go later, I guess. And I think I only have 1 more knitting work in progress, and that is something I actually started the day before yesterday. And that is, I am making, it's called the, oh, I have it here. What's it called? The Whiteout Coat Mini, and that is patterned by Nash Knits. And I'm going to put up a picture here so that you can see what it's going to look like. And I am making this. I'm knitting it in the size for Callum, my nephew, but it actually in between Callum and Axton. It might fit Axton, I'm not entirely sure, but I kind of hope it does, but he'll probably grow out of it by the winter anyway. But yeah, it's supposed to be for Callum. We'll see. But. I am in sort of an awkward state at the moment, but this is, you're not going to be able to see much of anything. This is where I'm at right now. So it's sort of like a bomber jacket. It's so cute. It is going to be a pain in the butt to knit. I know this already. Because knitting with alpaca boucle, this is Drops alpaca boucle, and then the main body of it, I'm knitting it out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Merlot Heather colorway. Trying to see your stitches in alpaca boucle is not the easiest thing I've ever done. And these are actually welts. So you pick up your stitches and you knit for a bit and then you make a welt, and you're supposed to like pick up the stitches on the purl side of the alpaca boucle, and it's very difficult. And it has a lot of details like that in this cardigan jacket thing, but it's going to be so cute. Originally, I had picked this pattern because I actually had the yarn that it was designed in, which is the Drops Nepal, which is that right here. I have loads of this color. And the gauge for this is 22 stitches on a 4mm needle. Now, I don't know about any of you, but if I tried to get a 22 stitch gauge in Drops Nepal, it would be able to stand up on its own. It would be bulletproof. Smallest I could go with a Nepal, and I gauge swatched, is 20 stitches per 4 inches. So, luckily, I have a very robust Knit Picks Wool of the Andes stash. So I have so much of this yarn, so much of it. I'm actually considering making a Cambridge jacket for my brother-in-law, so Callum and Axton's dad, out of the stuff I'm going to have left over from this. Because I think he might like that. It's one of those things where I'm like, if anyone wants to knit something for a man, a lot of the time, a Cambridge jacket will do. Because Jason has 4 and he wears them all the time. All the time. And he wants more. He keeps asking for more. It's hilarious. But yeah, this is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a non-superwash, which I can knit Dana non-superwash things and I don't have to worry about it because she's careful, and she also naturally knows that, you know, hand washing or washing in cold water and allowing to air dry will keep her clothes alive for longer, which is why she gets so many things from me. But yeah, so I'm just working up the left front and I'm not too far away, and then I'll be joining in all together. I'm following the pattern basically exactly, except for a few things where I've changed the buttonholes. She has you do her own 3-row buttonhole, and it's quite a gigantic buttonhole. You're taking off a lot of stitches in this. And I didn't like that. So I just changed it to a double yarn over buttonhole where you go to the last 5 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over twice, slip, slip, knit, and then knit your last stitch. And then on the way back, when you're purling, you're going to purl the first yarn over normally and then the second one through the back loop. It gives you just a little bit more of a buttonhole, but it doesn't, like, it's not too big. This one will be a very good size for the kind of buttons that I'm looking to put on this thing. And that so far is the only thing I've done any different, and I'm very happy with it. I'm so glad. I actually bought this Drops alpaca boucle especially for this project to match the green, but I almost think it matches this Merlot Heather colorway even more, so I'm delighted by that. You need a lot of needles for this because the gauges changed and she needs you to use different sizes for a lot of different things. So that's also great fun, but it has a collar and it's going to have a double knit button band in alpaca boucle. I'm not looking forward to that. But it's super cute. It's gonna be super cute. And I think this should fit Axton. It's pretty wide. It's got quite a bit of positive ease. So if they can fit both of them at one point, I will be delighted. That's basically how I'm trying to make sure Callum has, things that are just for him. But the idea of passing clothes down is just delightful. I love it, I love it, I love it. But I believe for knitting, that is all I've got going on at the moment. I have not done anything on my Fall River vest, even though I said I was going to, but I will have to try and make up for that between now and my next episode, and hopefully I can get, a really good chunk of that done. I need to actually pay attention to that. But there's so many other things, and baby clothes are so fun, and I want to knit a bunch of summer things, and it's all such a struggle. But really quickly, I'm going to say, before I get into the sewing, I do, as I mentioned in the beginning, my next shop update is going to be this Friday, March 28th at 1 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Savings Time, because we are now in Daylight Savings. It screwed me up so bad because it felt like we went the other direction. I feel like we lost an hour. I don't know how that happened, but the day that the clocks went forward, I was just desperate to go to bed, so it felt like we went the other way. I don't know what happened. But anyway, that's a tangent. So on March 28th at 1 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Savings Time, I will have the Scrappy Quilt Sock colorway. I dyed quite a bit of this. There's quite a bit of factory seconds for those who like factory seconds. And I have got 50 gram sets with the 20 gram mini, 100 gram sets with the 20 gram mini, and I have a few of the DK sets as well with the 20 gram mini. And then I will also have 20 gram fingering weight mini skein sets out of the 5 colors, which are the ones that I've used in half my projects the last few months, it seems. And then I will also be having project bags. So I'm making project bags that are based off of the quilt that inspired the colorway. So I've got one fully finished to show you. So this is an example of what they will look like. So each bag is going to have a different combination of fabrics on the front. So it's going to be, they're not all going to look the same. They have each individual. I've got a couple that I can show you as examples. But it's a good size, it's like small to medium size. You could fit like a shawl or like a kid's garment in here. And they're lined with sort of blue. And then I've put just, they're backed with a linen cotton blend, which I absolutely love. But I wanted it to have like a little bit more detail. So I've put a little hexagon in the same fabric in there. Because I just thought that was cute. But yeah. That's what they're like. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be taking a picture of every single, like, front. And I'm going to be putting them into paper bags and sealing them before the shop update. So it will be random. You're not going to know exactly what yours is going to look like until you get it. If I have time or at a later time, I'm probably going to do ones that are all the same. So if you like to know exactly what you're getting, then I would wait for that. But sometimes a nice surprise that's scrappy. It's fine. I'm going to have quite a few of these because I've been working up. I have lots of scraps. And the other day I went to a local quilt shop and I bought more background fabric for more of them because I can't stop myself. So yeah, these are the ones I've got done. The fronts I've got done so far. And I was actually thinking I might do like a little info thing about how you could make your own, because I can tell you exactly what size each block is to get a nice bag size. Because I fiddled around with this because I'm quite particular about how I want things to sit. And I needed the star to be in the center even when it was like being used. So, you know, it needs to be long enough at the bottom so that the points don't get folded under and, you know. But yeah, so I'm working on those this week. So yeah, there will be a surprise. But I don't think that's anything I have to say. Can't remember. But yeah, that's going to be what the shop update has in it for you. So I only have one more thing to show you, and it was kind of a surprise to me because I didn't expect to make it. I made another quilt top. I know, right? I have enough. I've got lots. This one was done in a marathon, basically. I cut it out on a Wednesday, and I had finished the quilt top on a Saturday, and it is absolutely I bought this, it's made out of a fat quarter set, and I will just show you. It's gigantic. I'm definitely going to have to post in. I took a picture of it on my couch. It's so huge. I'll have to put that in a bit here because it's gigantic. It's a huge quilt. But it was all folded up. This actually is not going to... I'm going to put the picture up now so you can see what it looks like because it's something that you need to see the entire thing to really get a scope of what it looks like. But. It is called the Inner Beauty Quilt. And it is gorgeous. Oh, absolutely delightful. Now, this quilt, I 100% believe that if you are a vaguely experienced beginner, if you've made one or two quilt tops and you want to do something a little bit more challenging but not very challenging, this is the quilt for you. There is nothing difficult about this quilt. It's almost all just sewing blocks together, and a lot of it is, pardon me, a lot of it is strip piecing, which I am dreadful at. I would rather sew 2-inch squares together individually than do strip piecing, but a lot of people, it's a lot faster that way and a lot easier. I'm just not very good at it. But the most complicated thing in this is the sawtooth stars, which they're not hard. They're just the hardest part of this quilt. I mean, sawtooth stars I love sawtooth stars, as you may see. But I made this quilt because I bought a fat quarter set that it was called Dawn on the Prairie. It's a Moda fat quarter set. And I loved it so much, but it was a huge fat quarter set. It was 37 fat quarters. So I told myself if I wanted to get that for myself, and it's because it was on sale and it's kind of selling out everywhere, but I had to make something with it right away. So this is what I made. This pattern is not designed to be a fat quarter quilt, but there are so many, it's so segmented, and also the designer has it written out for you so clearly that you could very easily use scraps or fat quarters in this. And some of the bits, because half of the squares in this pattern are 6.5-inch squares. Like, it's all separated by just blocks, so it's super quick. But some of them I didn't quite have enough inches, I suppose, because it's fat quarters. And every once in a while, you'll get a block like this that is pieced together. And that is absolutely fine. I do that in a lot of my quilts because I refuse to have to buy more fabric if I have enough. It's just not the right shape. And then a lot of them, so like the way this is here, these were all different fat quarters. And I've just arranged them to alternate. So it was really, really simple. And this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm actually pilfering a backing fabric from another quilt that I haven't even made yet, so I don't feel bad for pilfering. But I think this is going to be the backing, because I think it matches the same sort of vibe. And it kind of matches the flowers, and I like that a lot. Oh, it's so beautiful. I would definitely make this quilt again. It is just, the way it's written is so simple. It's you do each block one at a time, like each section of blocks one at a time. And that would also make it easy for you to figure out what sort of colors you'd want to be wearing. And I just, some of them, like these here, this log cabin here, it's got this colored center because I didn't have enough of this color. That's all. And then I didn't have enough of the pink to do both sections. But the log cabins are alternated in 2 different sections. So that's one of the versions, and then that's the other one. Just gotta pay attention. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I'm going to send it off to be quilted. I don't know if I'm going to send this one to my mother-in-law because she has so many of my quilts. I might send it off somewhere else. I'm not entirely sure. And what's great about this is that I was kind of considering, I have yet to make Callum a quilt. I feel bad about that. And I had started one, but I hate it, so I don't know if I'm going to continue. But I could literally just take off a couple of the rounds of this quilt and make him like a smaller one. And it would be super cute. Oh, I love it so much. It's so beautiful. This fabric, I've got a ton of it left. I've got like maybe 10 to 15 of the fat quarters completely untouched. And then I've got quite a bit of leftovers from each of the ones that I was cutting. Because some of the ones that I have cut from, I didn't actually need that much from each fat quarter. Oh, it's beautiful though. It's called the Inner Beauty. It's the ones I've seen online and the one that is used in the like sample are so effective. It looks way more complicated than it actually is, because it's really not that complicated, but oh, I love it. If I have had quite a few people mention to me that they really want to quilt, and like I know that it's one of those things that it must be difficult to start. I can't remember starting anymore, so to me it's like whatever, I can do whatever quilt I want. But if you start with something you really want to have, because my first quilt, I did not have the skills to make that quilt, and I made so many mistakes. So many mistakes. I'm pretty sure every single seam in that quilt was sewn 3 times. But I learned from that one quilt basically everything you need to know for every other quilt after that. So it's like a trial by fire, kind of jumping in, you're testing the depth of water with both feet kind of thing, where because of that first quilt that I still have, I use it all the time, I can make anything else that I want. And now it's not hard because I've done it so many times. Anyways, I love this quilt so much. So much. All right. I'm starting to talk too much, and now my cough is coming. But yeah, so I'm going to send that off. I don't know what else I'm going to start next. There is one quilt. While I was making that, I have another one that has not entirely similar in the color scheme. And I was looking at it the whole time I was finishing this one up. I'm like, let's start that one next. I don't have time for that. And also, I want to make Callum a quilt. I love quilting. Anyways, I'm going to send that one off. Even if I wanted to quilt it myself, my machine is way too small and it is way too big. But yeah, I'm going to send that off to be finished. And I need to decide what I'm going to do for the binding. I probably just cut a lot of pieces from my fat quarters, I think. Because I love a scrappy binding, which I realized during my scrappy quilt. But yeah, that's all I'm working on at the moment, so I'll send those off. Gonna work on my bags today. And yeah, still reading Terry Pratchett. I finished 2 Terry Pratchett's in the last couple weeks. I think it was Guards and Witches Abroad. Loved both of them. They were great. So I'm just continuing on with the next ones. I've already read Men at Arms. And then I need to read, I think, Lords and Ladies? Something like that. Another witches one. Anyway, I am babbling. I'm going to go and sew the rest of the day. So I will see you next time, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.